It is 9:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8th day of May 2024, and this is episode 894 of Bitcoin, and the Circle P is open for business. The Circle P, in case you're wondering, is my attempt to give the people that cannot afford to have a voice in market a voice, because they have goods and services that they would like to sell too. Maybe they have a a side gig that they want to turn into a full-time job because they love it better than whatever fluorescent light washed cubicle that they may be in just isn't cutting it for them. So I decided that since I do have an audience, it's not a big audience, but y'all are out there. Good morning, Kid Warp. Speaking of one of my over there in Zap.stream, thank you for showing up there, brother. The Circle P is for plebs. It's a circular economy about Bitcoin for plebs. And if you don't take Bitcoin for your goods and services, then you're not in the Circle P. Like Shishi21M, he takes Bitcoin for his comfrey. If you want one of the best, most useful plants in your garden permanently, like plant it once and you're done, then you're going to want some comfrey. Now, if you want to know more about what comfrey is actually going to do for you, well, you can go over, and I'm just going to put up a whole bunch of over there into Zap.stream so you have something to look at. But if you are in the Zap.stream, this is what this plant looks like. It is just a biomass generator. It's high in nitrogen. It's good fodder for animals. It's medicine. It's all kinds of neat stuff. There is more to this plant than I can possibly tell you about here. And she has the roots that you will be using to plant this plant. But if you want to know all about comfrey, episode 726 of A Bitcoin And is where you're going to find that thing. And I highly recommend it. You can get one full root for $20. Now, the full root is what I'm pretty sure that she's doing is he's giving you the full root, which is a big, massive root, plus part of the top. And that plant will come up almost immediately, couple of days, right? Once you just dig a hole, you throw it in there, you make sure the top is kind of close to the surface, you fill in the dirt, boom, you're in water it, make water it in, kind of done. The root cuttings, which you can get for $1 a piece, and I recommend getting 20 of them, are little pieces of the comfrey, and you put those into a hole, maybe a week, maybe 7 weeks later, depends, you get a full plant. But once that plant is grown there, it's almost impossible to kill, and it will be in your garden forever. So wherever it is that you decide to plant these things, make sure that this is where you things to grow, because you're never ever going to get rid of them. If you were to think, you know what, I messed up, I've got 20 plants over here and I really don't want those comfrey plants over here, so I'm going to dig them out. And then you dig them out, well, you're going to leave a couple of pieces of root behind, and guess what, those are going to clone themselves and you're right back to where you started from. You're going to grow back. So then you get pissed off and you grab the rototiller. Yeah, I'm going to kill all these things. And you just rototill the living shit out of it. Well, now you just pissed comfrey off, and it's going to make hundreds of plants. So again, beware. Wherever it is that you plant this plant, it has to be its final resting space. I highly recommend not planting it where it is full sun for the entire day, especially in southern climates. We'll have a lot of difficulty. Full morning sun, afternoon shade, plenty of water, get it going, and you're golden. You can get one full root for $20. You can get root cuttings for $1 each. Buyer pays shipping. That's Shishi21M at protonmail.com. If you want a slower method of that's SHI, the numbers 21 and the M at protonmail.com. Or look in the show notes, grab his NPub, because Pub is show notes. Take it over to any Nostr client, plug it into the search, and you will find Shishi. Just make sure that you told him that you heard about it here on the Circle P, and he will cut me in on some of those Sweet, sweet Satoshi. Now, I'm going to throw this up here because this is where we're going to start today. Anarplex.net. All right, so this isn't news, but this is something that Walker Noster brought up yesterday in a note, and I started looking around this thing, and somehow or another, I'm rather enamored with this thing, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. But if I go to the base and say, go to anarplex.sirion.io, Sirion is spelled Sirion, Sirion.io, you get into something that is called files and projects related to crypto tribes, files, spelled PHYLES, crypto anarchy, agorism, and provider of dark net services. So I don't know. Is it an FBI front? Is it a CIA front? Hell, I don't know. You can't trust nobody nowhere at all. But I found a really interesting file on this I want to read now, because this file and all the files on here, and let me show you a couple. Let me go over here to files, and we'll go to, I don't know, crypto tribal, aristocracy of action. We'll go to that one. And scroll down here to the bottom. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this one doesn't have it, but the one I'm going to read to you today does have it, and that is, it's a PGP signed message using SHA-1 hashing algorithm. So whoever signed this thing has some kind of knowledge of PGP. Again, could be FBI or CIA. I mean, anybody can use pretty good privacy. It's PGP. You can just use it. But if you know how to use it, or if you're signing a message with PGP, then you at least know how to use it. Okay, it doesn't mean that I know who this person is. It just means that it is a signed message. But I'm going to leave this up here so you can take a look at anarplex.net. That is, or I'm sorry, anarplex.sirion.io. And I think it's possible that anarplex.net will resolve to anarplex.sirion.io. But here's the message that 50 things to do now. Number 1, become a part-time entrepreneur, garage market dealer, urban farmer, welder, whatever. Just be productive under your own. It doesn't matter what it is, just be directly productive and directly deal with suppliers and clients. You'll find it awesomely liberating, be highly useful for the free underground market. Sound familiar? Number 2, switch off the TV, read books. Number 3, socialize with people that share your ethics and that are productive and respectful. Eat together, discuss, challenge each other, help each other, have a good time. Get into there, convert at least 30% of your cash to silver and or gold coins. Quote, invest in trust. Do minor deals with people on a trust basis, taking others at their word, and let yourself be challenged by yours. Now, I'm going to pause because that's the essence of the Circle P. If you buy from Shishi 21M a whole bunch of comfrey roots today, like let's say you spend $75, Shishi, the deal that we worked out is that he will give me some percentage of those sales. It's trust, though. I don't have a mechanism to punish Shishi. You now know that he sells comfrey. You know how to get a hold of him. I marketed Shishi and his product, that is comfrey, to you free of charge. He didn't prepay me. If you that's why I have to trust you to tell him where you heard to buy comfrey from. That's the only way that he knows that, oh shit, I better, maybe cut some Satoshis to Dave. But what if he doesn't? I'm trusting Shishi. See, sometimes trust is involved. We always say don't trust, verify, but in this particular case and in many other cases, trust is not only warranted, it's critical. It's necessary. It's necessary for me to trust Shishi. It's necessary for me to trust the other guys, the other vendors in the Circle P. Bravco's one of them. Reverend Hoddle's been in there. There's a couple of other people. Maple Trade's in there. I trust all these guys. There's no formal agreement. Trust is important. We can't just go around shit canning trust because of the whole moniker of don't trust, verify. Anyway, start looking for matches. This is number 6. When you talk with people, memorize what they do, and if an opportunity comes up, connect them with someone else for a minor finder's fee, like a hamburger or beers, money, whatever. It doesn't matter. Number 7, join your local Lima house, Lima house. In parentheses, it says, we'll explain this at a future post. If anybody knows what the hell a Lima house, Lima, is, please let me know. I'm interested because I cannot find it. I don't see another post about Lima. Anyway, travel, but don't go sightseeing. Spend your time getting to know the people there. Think about business opportunities. 9, start using aliases and pseudonyms. Does it sound familiar? Get comfortable using them in real life situations. Like you go, like this is me talking, this thing. They don't mention Bitcoin. But when you go to like Bitcoin conference, be okay with using your pseudonym. It's okay. You don't have to use your real name. And I've noticed this myself. Sometimes it bothers me when somebody has, hey, Nunya, and I'm like, God damn it, that's not my real name. But this is telling me that maybe I should become comfortable with that. Maybe I should. Number 10, learn to use cryptography. 11, learn ethics and law, not the government law. 12, study logic, especially the fallacies. Here they're referring to what's called the logical fallacies, arguments that are piss poor arguments, ad hominem, logical fallacy. Number 13, put more cash aside. Use your part-time job as the source of saved cash. Number 14, start to invest cash with people you know in off-the-book projects. Start making microloans or buy shares in their operations. 15, learn basic double entry bookkeeping. Do not waste effort on the account numbers. Understand the concept and use it. 16, learn to write in code. We all have to use recordings, contact book, transaction notes, etc. These should be hard to decipher for someone taking a glimpse, and even harder for somebody taking time to analyze them. Use tricks like date shifting, shorthand, making up your own terms, etc. Or if you want to spend a little more effort, learn to use memorized ciphers, such as memorizing some longer text, then apply it as a simple shifting key to what you write, with the page number or a marker as the key part. Number 17, tell other producers, entrepreneurs, traders, etc. that you appreciate what they do. I'm pausing to say that I do this. There was a guy in Midland, Texas, when I was still living down there, teenager, early, and I had a guy that knew how to basically work on my guitar, and he refretted my fretboard on my Fender Stratocaster. He always would, like after that, he would dress the frets. He'd kind of file them down to get indentations out. He would set my harmonics. He would make the neck was at the proper angle. He would do all the things, and it was awesome. And every time that I took him my guitar, first thing I did was take it out. I would play it a little bit on the phone. I would call this guy and tell him thank you, even though I paid him like, $40, $50, which back in the early 90s was a fair amount of cash to spend for this thing. But I would make sure that he knew that I appreciated it. It's important. It's a lost art. It's important, and we should start doing shit again. 18, buy primarily from others like you, hence the Circle P. Stay away from the on-the-books market as much as you can. 19, when in conflict, ask someone to mediate. Solve conflicts yourself wherever and whenever you can. Use a mutually respected and trusted third party if necessary. Stay away from state justice, in quotes, whenever. Number 20, start respecting secrets. Secrets are good most of the time. Transparency is bad most of the time. Detoxify yourself from the everything should be out in the open propaganda. Number 21, slowly make your part time off the books business your main line of income. Things like underground dental hygiene are very cool. Interesting example. Number 22, learn that off the books means that you really have to excel in what you have to provide quality. Number 23, don't invest in single deals. Invest in relationships with the market. 24, get over it. Voting doesn't help at all. 5, work with friends to create buying associations and selling associations. This will give you and others lots of money to save and lots of money to hide. 26, harbor a fugitive. Well, good ones, obviously. 27, help someone cross a border without documents. 28, offer small merchants silver or gold rather than fiat currency. Number 29, sell your products in silver or gold. 30, accept and use digital gold such as Pecunix or Sea Gold. Start a community currency in your town. That's number 31. 32, use digital cash such as eCash, which is spelled ECACHE. Number 33, use Loom, TrueBank. Number 34, get serious about protecting your internet traffic. 35, get comfortable working your will in the world. 36, learn how to work your will beneficially. This is not about being right. It's about causing benefit. Number 37, fix your mistakes. You will make them. Then learn not to repeat. 38, learn how to communicate effectively. Again, this is not about proving that you were right. This is about getting true ideas into other minds effectively. Number 39, stop obeying the state in some new way. Tell your friends about your success in doing so. Number 40, get comfortable with the term economic civil disobedience. Let me repeat that one. Get comfortable with the term economic civil disobedience. That one right now is the most important one in this list as of today because of all the bullshit that is perpetrated on this last week. Get comfortable with the term economic civil disobedience. Number 41, spread the idea that the state is not magic. It is nothing more than a collection of your neighbors, not more ethical and noble than the lamer next. Number 42, learn how to find the false assumptions in arguments. Most public lies sound okay if you don't find their unspoken assumptions. If they pass too quickly, find the written version and search for the lie that it contains. Number 43, learn how to disagree with kindness. What that means, I'm pausing here, what I think he means is, I disagree with you, is a kind way of saying, I don't agree with this. But saying you're a complete moron, I hate everything about you because clearly you're wrong, which is the toxicity that you see over on Twitter. Don't do that because it hurts you and probably doesn't really, it probably hurts you, your heart, your soul, much more than it actually hurts the person that you say that to, if they even see that shit at all on Twitter. Chances are good they're not even seeing it. So you're the one that bears the brunt of saying those. That negativity is like, it's like, I don't know, coal dust. It just sticks onto you like it's disgusting. Number 44, accept the fact that most people are confused and are just barely hanging on to the last shreds of self-esteem. Understand that state intellectuals like this condition. As it makes people easier to keep in line because a little shame goes a long way. Number 45, don't waste your energy on the political crisis du jour. Busy your mind with more substantial things. Daily political dramas are a time sink and the statists like it. Stop following their script. Number 46, use jurisdictional arbitrage to deprive the state of your money. Work with friends if the setup costs are too large for you. 47, learn to defend yourself, your family, your neighbors, and your town. No state means no military. Until you take this upon yourself, your plans will always have a gaping hole in their middle. There is no free lunch here either. Get weapons and be mentally prepared to use them. Decide in advance how and when you would use them. Not leave it to the emotion of the moment. That will make a shipwreck of the entire venture. Learn how to use them safely. Number 48, do something nice for your neighbor. The people who live near you are a far more important part of your environment than any other. Number 49, help people who suffer undeservedly. No state means that you're responsible for charity. Sure, it will be much easier when the state isn't telling you. Sorry. It will be easier when the state isn't stealing all of your extra money, chasing you in hope of theft, but do what you can now and get used to the process. Finally, number 50, watch over your friends. Notice when they are having a bad day. Show some kindness and concern. If they are overloaded, carry some of their burden. Y'all have bad times, and your bad day may come too. Actually, it will. Help one another, restore one another. Okay. I don't know who wrote this. All I have is the PGP signature at the end of this. That's all I have. I have no idea who this person is. There's no date on this. I don't know when it was written. I don't know when it was uploaded to Anarplex, but I'm fascinated. Honestly, this laundry list by itself is, I can't find a whole lot of fault with it. And it's plainly not evil, right? And they're talking about anarchism and fuck the state and screw the man and economic civil disobedience. And yet all of this, I mean, that's going to be poison to somebody like Warren. But when I'm reading it, I get a charge out of it. It's like an instruction manual. Honestly, I think it's a good thing. Probably take a look at it. Again, that is anarplex.syrian.io, anarplex.syrian.io. All right, so now let's get into the news. All right. Argentinian energy company to mine Bitcoin with stranded gas. So another one up here. Bitcoin Magazine, written by Vivek Sen. Argentina's energy sector is increasingly turning to Bitcoin, this time with a state-owned facility using stranded natural gas from oil fields that would otherwise be wasted. State-owned energy firm YPF subsidiary, YPF Luz, recently partnered with Genesis Digital Assets to launch a gas flare-powered mining facility. It will harness 1,200 machines to monetize gas currently being flared out into the atmosphere. This comes as Argentina embraces Bitcoin with the election of Bitcoin Javier Milei in late. Don't trust the Milei man, okay? Just don't trust him. I got a bad feeling about this guy. He got way too cozy with the World Bank and the IMF way too fast for me. By repurposing stranded gas that is currently burned as waste, GDA estimates its mining operations could reduce up to 63% of carbon emissions, which shows how Bitcoin mining can use. GDA founder, no way I'm pronouncing this guy's name, said, quote, "This will be yet another opportunity to show the world that Bitcoin mining can have a positive effect on the environment and can be fully integrated into communities. For GDA, this means competitive energy pricing and reduced carbon output. For Argentina, it signals leadership in leveraging Bitcoin mining to. The news mirrors how other countries are utilizing Bitcoin mining to clean up energy. On mines Bitcoin hydropower to consume its seasonal energy, while El Salvador uses geothermal energy to power mining rigs with zero carbon footprint. So now we've got Argentina in the mix. I think there's another company in Argentina that's also thinking about doing this or started a pilot doing this. I'm not sure. Argentina is definitely on deck for Bitcoin mining. All right, so House Republicans move to crush the SEC's anti-crypto banking policy. Andrew Thorpalis, pro-crypto Republicans are preparing a broadside against the United States Securities and Exchange Commission this week. demanding that the agency rescind its current guidance that they say discourages banks from offering crypto custody services. On Wednesday, the House of Representatives will vote on Representative Mike Flood's joint resolution to lodge Congressional District Staff Account 121. Companion resolution was introduced. SAB 121, published on the SEC website, outlines the opinions of SEC staff about the risks crypto custodians should consider and lays out the related disclosure requirements under law. While the SEC positions SAB's guidance rather than formal rules, Flood argued on Monday that 121 represents both a change in policy and a change that's controversial. He said the SEC also bypassed the traditional SAB development process, which usually involves consultation with federal banking agencies. Quote, "It is unfortunate that the SEC would attempt to circumvent the rulemaking process while falsely claiming that SAB 121 is simply non-binding staff-level guidance," Flood said before the House committee Monday. Within SAB 121, SEC warns of technological, legal, and regulatory risks unique to crypto custodians, claiming they could have a significant impact on the entity's financial conditions. Flood blames warnings like this for keeping banks and broker-dealers away from safeguarding crypto assets like assets even 4 months after the agency's approval of Bitcoin spot ETF. Quote, "The SEC has impeded this long-standing practice and made safeguarding digital assets prohibitively expensive for trustworthy and highly regulated institutions. A resolution is not legally binding, but expresses the collective sentiment of Congress." Tom Emmer, arguably the SEC's fiercest critic on Capitol Hill, backed Flood's legislation on Monday, calling the illegal SAB 121 an example of SEC's attempts to claim regulatory authority over the crypto industry at large. Quote, "SAB 121 introduces more unnecessary, unavoidable into the digital asset ecosystem, making our markets less fair, less orderly, less efficient." The SEC has targeted several of the largest crypto companies, from exchanges, other custodial service providers, to software development teams, lawsuits including Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Uniswap, and Robinhood. If the joint resolution designated HJRES 109 passes its floor vote in the House tomorrow, it must still wait its fate for the companion resolution in the Senate titled SJRES 59, which has not yet been passed out of committee, would become law with 2/3 vote in chambers. So at least somebody's fighting this. Anyway, let's run the numbers. CNBC futures and commodities. I got West Texas Intermediate crude up 0.5 point to $78.80. Brent North Sea is up 0.32% to $83.40. Natural gas is down 1.5 points to $2.17 per thousand, and gasoline is down 2/3 point to $2.50. Shiny Metal Rock's not having a good day. Well, silver is. It's up 1/3, but gold is unchanged, and everything else is down in red, including palladium, which is the 2.21 downside. Agricultural stuff is fully mixed. The biggest winner today is cotton, 3.19% upside. Biggest loser today is sugar, 1 downside. And live cattle is down 0.5. Lean hogs are up 0.6. Feeder cattle down 0.67. Legacy markets, well, the Dow's doing okay. It's up 1/5 point, but everything else is in the red. S&P down 1/10 point. NASDAQ down 1/10, down 0.6%. Well, $62,410 of a price of Bitcoin gives a $1.23 trillion market cap. That's 27.1 ounces of shiny metal rocks that you can purchase with your one Bitcoin. 19,695,336.74 of, and 1/3 of those are being taken in fees on a per block basis. When I mean 1/3, I mean 0.3 TC average fees per right now as we speak. What is the mempool saying about how many blocks that there are? Find out here on mempool.space. 241 blocks carrying 197,000 actions waiting to clear at high priorities of 26 byte, low priorities 1, and anything under 6 you're going to get kicked out of mempool around the world. Ooh, hash rate taking a beating today. Oh man, dude. 482 exahashes per second. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not been under 500 exahashes per second in a very long time. Here's what I think is good. I think the miners, I think this is also goes into why we're seeing price depression in Bitcoin. There's three things going on here. There is accumulation phase. I see clear evidence that people are letting the people with enough Bitcoin to make a difference when the market sell or buy are letting the price rise up, and then they're market selling a whole bunch to get it back down, and then they up and then in and again, and then it looks like the cycle is at least twice a day, right? Now, second, I think some of these people may actually be miners. These are the people that are actually doing double duty. They might be trying to manipulate the market as well as sell the highest price possibly get it, because they are clearly not making money. Does that mean all miners are in this boat? No. But what we're seeing as the tide of Bitcoin subsidiary goes out slowly over time, we will see more and more people that have been swimming in the ocean without any underwear, seeing the people that are swimming naked. That's what's going on. You're going to start seeing bankruptcies in mining, Bitcoin mining, actually occur. Does that mean you should freak out? Stop being a pussy. No, it does not mean you should freak out. Good God, y'all, get a spine. I mean, come on. But yeah, even my ears prick up at 482 hashes per second. Oh, now from doing all the things, which was episode 893 of Bitcoin, and I've got O2ZX boosting me 5,000 Satoshi, says appreciated. Sideduck with 1,000 says thank you for everything you do. User 507-40894 with 500 says value for value. Me gusta and thank you. Kenneth Lloyd, 500 Satoshis, no note. Highs with 420 says thank you, sir. No, thank you. And God's Death with 337 says thank you, sir. Callie is killing him. And then he gives Callie's in pub and ask people to go zap him. Please go do that. Callie on Nostr is spelled Calle. You can put that into most Nostr client search engines. You'll find them, and I highly recommend that you follow God's Death and his advice. Go zap him. Callie's behind Cashew. He's one of the guys that is practicing economic civil disobedience. That is economic civil disobedience. All right. Now, Stacy finishes us off with 100 sats, no note, and that's going to be weather report. Welcome to part 2 of the news that you can use. And before we begin, I got my Start 9 in. I got a server 1 to replace my Raspberry Pi, which has been chugging along for 5 years. Actually 5 years now. Never been turned off except for like 3 or 4 times. It's only, it has to turn off when I upgrade the software on it. But as far as unplugging from the wall, I've only had to do that a couple of times, for like any length of. It has been a powerhouse, but honestly, it's getting to the point where I just decided that it was time to have some extra facilities along with the Bitcoin Core and a light Bitcoin Core full node, and a Lightning Network. I wanted some other features, and Start9 looks like it's going to do that thing synced up in a day. The entire blockchain, not pruned. As far as I know, not pruned. I looked at the configuration and it was like, do you want it pruned? And I'm like, no, I don't really want it pruned. I want a full archival node. So that's what I got. And honestly, I'll say a little, started it at 6 a.m. UTC yesterday, and it looks like it finished up at 8 p.m. UTC yesterday. No, at 8 a.m. UTC. So a little over a full day, according. That's what it looks like. Anyway, so all of it, the whole blockchain is now already downloaded. So the Start9 server 1 did it very, very fast, and a lot of that has to do with processing power, because when you're downloading, you're not just downloading the blockchain. Okay, you start at the Genesis block and you validate all of the transactions in that block, and that block gets hashed. That hash is used along with the second block, validation and hashing of all of the transactions in that block, and those hashes are basically hashed together to give to the third block. So there's an immense amount of processing power for validation of every single transaction in every single block, and it goes starting at the Genesis block all the way up to what's called the chain tip, or the last block. So it's not, you're just not downloading. So this doesn't have as much to do with download speed as it does have to do with processing speed. Start9 server 1 has apparently got a pretty beefy ass processor. I have not been able to play with it as much as I want. I will be doing that after the show. I will bring that later on today. Now, so hold on. You guys have something. Pictures of Comfrey, so you can all Comfrey. All right, now on to the news. Nearly all FTX creditors will get their money back. Okay, so we're going back. Context is FTX, basically the Sam Bankman-Fried, the whole thing that started the whole bear market. Right? Check this out. These creditors, not only are they going to get their funds back, they're going to get 118% of their funds back in cash. The estate says in their new plan. This is out of CoinDesk, written by Cheyenne Leon. Bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange FTX has proposed a new reorg plan that would see a whopping 98% of its creditors get back 118% of their claims in cash within 60 days of court approval, according to new documents filed Tuesday evening. And I call straight up bullshit. Where did this extra 20% come from? All the money that they took in. I mean, they would have had to sell every personal piece of property, that ill-gotten property that all the people were basically users' cash to buy, and that would only get you back to 100%. That would only get you back to 100%. Where's this 20% coming from? Is it because the price of Bitcoin is back up? I thought they didn't have Bitcoin on there. Nobody knows what the hell's going on with that. But regardless, under this plan, other non-governmental creditors would get back 100% of their claims, plus up to 9% interest to compensate them, quote, for the time value of their investments, end quote. The arrangement is still subject to approval by Delaware Bankruptcy Court overseeing the bank. The proposed payouts are higher than earlier estimates from the FTX estate, which said in October it expected to pay back only 90% of customer. In January, current FTX CEO John J. Ray III revised that estimate, telling the court he expected to be able to pay customers back in full. Though the crypto market has rebounded since FTX's collapse and subsequent bankruptcy, irking many of FTX's customers who have missed out on the opportunity to profit from the run up in crypto prices while their funds are stuck in bankruptcy limbo. The estate denies that the market recovery is the driving force behind its massive pile of cash. In a Tuesday press release, the FTX estate said it expects to have between 100 or no, I'm sorry, 100 no, 14.5 and 16.3 billion dollars in cash available for distribution by the time a plan is approved by a Delaware bankruptcy court, the result of a year and a half of scraping together the company's scattered assets around the world and liquidating them. Quote, as previously disclosed, FTX.com had a massive shortfall at the time of the Chapter 11 filing in November of 2022, holding only 0.1% of the Bitcoin and only 1.2% of Ethereum customers that it actually had held. Press release. Further quote, accordingly, debtors have not been able to benefit from the appreciation of these missing tokens during the Chapter 11 in other sources of value, including investments made by FTX and Alameda Research, such as its 8% stake in AI startup Anthropic, which was sold piecemeal to institutional investors for $884 million in March, have been liquidated to generate cash to pay back the claims. FTX's new reorg plan would also settle a host of claims from regulators and government agencies, including the Internal Service, U.S. CFT, or the CFTC, out after all creditors and other entities. So they're trading in their $24 billion claim for $885 million total. God, these people. The CFTC and other unnamed governmental claimants agreed to subordinate their claims as long as FTX users and investors were paid in full with interest. There are also plans for a special fund created to make supplemental restitution to customers, certain customers and creditors, though the details of that agreement have not been finalized. A hearing to discuss the proposed plan is scheduled June. Okay, so they're getting back more than they put by 20% or 18%, 98% of the people. So I wonder who the 2% are that are left out in the wind. Doesn't matter. Because what's really freaking me out here, 118, when Enron went bankrupt, creditors get more than 100% of what they put. I don't think so. What about other bankruptcies? I mean, these guys are good to recover 65% in some cases. And I'm led to believe that they've recovered everything plus more. Something stinks. Everything about FTX stank, right? I mean, it's like, even I was like, at the very first, I think I caught myself saying that they're buying a Bitcoin. And clearly I was wrong. I was just wrong because it was, I didn't know who these people were. I wasn't doing my due diligence. I got caught with my britches down, but at least I'll admit it to you. But now, not now, but after that, after I started thinking, I don't know, there's something fishy here. This is before their bank. I started thinking there was something fishy. And the more other people were saying, hey, well, look what I found, and look at the other person this, and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, I've started going, these people are, this is weird. And the further down that rabbit hole you go, especially when you start getting into who parents are and what his parents were actually doing ancillary to FTX, they look to me like they were taking paychecks from FTX for know what they were doing. Something is wrong here. There's been speculation that it's CIA front. Something at the SEC and the CFTC, they all basically put this kid up and said, hey, we're gonna make really, really big. And then CZ from Binance pulled the plug on all those plans by saying, dude, here's a leaked balance sheet. And then the whole thing fell apart. And now CZ gets to go to jail for 4 months. So maybe CZ wasn't exactly working against all of this tower of governmental agencies that X, if that is indeed what happened. I don't know. I'm not going to say that that is actually what occurred because I don't know. But if it did, that's where I'm going. If it did, is it possible that CZ from Binance was part of the setup? And one of these days, I think we'll actually, but I don't think it's going to be very. Still, though, 118%, I call total and bullshit. Okay. Embassy. EMESSBEE, pronounced embassy. No, sorry, not embassy. MSB, like MSB, money service broker. I think is what they're trying. I think it's a play on word. They construct CoinJoin transactions without a coordinator. All right, so this is from Super Testnet. You guys don't know who Super Testnet is. He's a badass developer. Find him on Nostr at Super Testnet. Super Testnet shared a proof of concept implementation of the MSB protocol for performing CoinJoin transactions without a central coordinator. Remember what I was saying? I think it was number 40. Be comfortable doing monetary or economic civil disobedience. This is monetary economic disobedience. I love the MSB protocol uses a 3-round serverless flow that can work any public bulletin board, allowing for the sending and reading of messages. The demo version of the protocol makes use of Nostr as the public bulletin board for coordination, although the real version of the protocol would likely communicate over much more secure channels. MSB also requires users to pay for their own block space. Mining fee is calculated after all change addresses are submitted, then divided up equally among all participants and deducted from the amount that would otherwise go to users as change added developer fees. The developer also outlined a mechanism for reducing denial of service attacks using the kickout protocol, although it's not been implemented yet. Quote, I haven't implemented kickout protocol, so MSB is currently flawed. Trolls can flood any attempt with fake messages to disrupt it and stop it from happening. But MSB works in the happy path that it does, and if the kickout protocol can enforce the happy path, then I think we're in good shape. Some also pointed out that the protocol lacks Sybil resistance mechanism, to which the developer responded that it is not a complete CoinJoin software. Quote, after digging a bit, the most interesting thing by far here is the use of ring signatures like those leveraged in Monero to prevent any mixing round participant from being able to deterministically link other participants' inputs to outputs, all without a central coordinator. Again, no central coordinator. Quote, perhaps I'm missing something, but this could be extremely useful for join markets to implement. This enhances the Sybil resistance of fidelity bonds and also better protects makers against takers that attempt to reveal outputs. Slides of the presentation can be found here, and there is also a video. The link to this nobsbitcoin.com is in the show notes. And ever since I started working with podhome.fm for my podcast hosting service, my show notes are together. When I mean together, they look good. You can actually read them. They're not all mashed together like they used to be. Thank you, Podhome. But if you want to go see, not only there's a couple of videos that show how this works, and then there's a slide presentation that is also in this, then go look at it. Because what is this? It's CoinJoin without this is what I was saying in Monday's show. We cannot have companies. We cannot use our own names. We cannot have phone numbers or emails or snail mail addresses or post office boxes, whatever. You can't use company structures. You can't use LLCs. You can't use S-Corps. You can't use DBAs. Not in this space. Not with these wild animals running around, nipping at our heels. Not until we snipe them all out Are we going to be able to feel safe using our own name, our own phone number, own email, get back to business as usual? But for right now, all of that is a fucking mess. Don't use any of that shit. So now already Super Testnet is sitting there saying, here's how we do it without anybody being able to knock on anybody's door anywhere in the world and shut this shit down. Boom, MSB. It's amazing. Become the change you want to see in the world, but also be comfortable committing economic civil disobedience. Economic civil disobedience. This is a prime example. Economic civil disobedience. But who's being obedient? Agoradesk. Agoradesk, local Monero P2P exchange, is shutting down November the 7th. I'm surprised they're waiting long. Agoradesk, a no KYC peer-to-peer Bitcoin trading platform, announced that it has begun the winding down process of its operations, probably because they have offices and phone numbers and emails, and, you know, people know where they live so they can, hello. Anyway, quote, after almost 7 years of operation, due to a combination of internal and external factors, we've made the difficult decision to close down our platform. We're extremely thankful for the love and support we've received over the years. Yada, 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 yakety schmackety. We are getting the hell out. Quote, the winding down process begins today and finishes 6 months from now. Our support staff will be available for help throughout the period. Existing users should be aware that 1, effective immediately, all new signups and ad postings are disabled. 2, 1 week from now on May the 14th, 2024, new trades will be disabled as well. C, 6 months from now on November the 7th, 2024, website will be taken. Please reclaim any funds from your arbitration bond wallet prior to that date. Otherwise, the funds may be considered abandoned or forfeited. All right, so again, we have economic civil disobedience, and then we have economic civil obedience, and this is them being obedient. From now on, nobody can be using their names, their real God-given Christian names, or whatever you want to call it, anything that even remotely looks like it might be on a birth certificate. You can't use it. You have to use NIM if you're a developer. I mean, did I screw up saying that my name was David Bennett over the last 5 years of this podcast? Probably, but all I produce is a podcast. I just report on what's going on. I am not actually a developer. But I guarantee you, if I, for whatever reason, let's say tomorrow, I wake up and I'm a master coder in Rust and C, C+, and C++, and like, I don't know, Python, and everything is like crystal clear, like Neo, waking up in the chair and looking. And then I start actually fixing all kinds of shit now. The top of mind is I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm doing it. I don't want accolades because they are dangerous. I don't want trophies because they might lead somebody that I don't want to my location. See what I'm saying? There's no phone numbers, there's no emails, there's no nothing. I literally am a black hole, a fucking specter, a ghost, like Casper, floating around, doing my coding, but making sure that nobody can see me, nobody can hear me, nobody knows doing it, nobody knows who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, who I know, nothing. Now, that is way easier to say because we were all brought up in a system that absolutely depends on identity. I am seeing a major shift. It's happening as of last week. And I'm not talking about a shift in the governments of the world to see what I'm seeing the correct reaction from developers and the other people in space that are saying, fine, you want to do it this way? We will start being the snipers. We will be the snipers. Lodges the very shit in the back of your head you never saw coming from well over 5 to 6 kilometers away. Never fucking catch. Economic civil disobedience. That's the name of the game. And just so you know, libsec p 256k1 version 0.5.0 has been released, faster key generation and faster key signing. It's an optimized C library, what's known as ECDSA signatures. That's ecliptic curve. That's how we get public private key pairs. But that generation of those key pairs is what allows us to sign the messages that action. That's where it all comes from. So when somebody says multi-sig, got multiple signatures that have to basically be, the processing has to be done on it when you're actually signing these messages. And some of these things get very, very big. And this is one of the reasons a lot of people bitching, why did Satoshi Nakamoto decide to use CDSA for the signature generation portion of Bitcoin rather than other things? There's all manner of podcasts and books why that was, but it was couldn't use this other thing that he wanted to use because it's still under patent. That's why he chose ECDSA. Anyway, it's slow, it's cumbersome, it takes a lot of memory to actually processing when you're doing all this stuff, causes problems. But now it looks like an optimized C library for the signatures, secret and public key operations have been released. It includes algorithmic improvements which increase the speed of key generation as well as signing. At the same time, the binary size has been reduced significantly, which we expect to benefit embedded users in particular. Moreover, a new function to sort public keys has been added. So if you're somebody who is designing a wallet, then go look at libsecp 256K1 version 5.0 has been released. And I think that's going to do it. Yeah, that should do it for the morning roundup. Dad says jokes. I recently think. Become comfortable with economic civil disobedience. That was number 40 in that list of 50 things. I can't get this back. 50. Oh, wait. It was browser. Diddy. And rplex.syrian.io. See, 50 things to do now. I honestly go read this thing for your. If you don't want to read it for yourself, you can always back up. But number 40 in the list of 50 things you need to do right now is get comfortable with the term economic civil disobedience. I honestly believe that very well may be the most important right now for us in this space at this time. Learning to become comfortable with the term economic civil disobedience. So you chew on that, and I'll see you on